So guess what happened yesterday morning at 2:50 a.m.? Well, most of you were probably sleeping, I hope. Well, it was that point where the sun's rays were shining directly on the Earth's equator. And it was the beginning of what was known as the day of equal night, where there are only 2 days in the year. Did you know this? When day and night, 12 hours, are almost exactly the same amount of time. And it's the spring equinox and the fall equinox. And so yesterday, it happened at 2:50 a.m. So now I can officially say, welcome to fall. Happy autumn equinox. And I also want to just take a moment to acknowledge Annabelle Ludwig, our board president, for really, I think, introducing this practice to our ministry of honoring the spring and fall equinox, that it was kind of her energy and enthusiasm, and we've made it our part of our regular spiritual practice now for a few years, and it's been a way to invite some new people in to join us, and sometimes the equinox falls on a Thursday or a Wednesday or different days of the week, but so I wanted to just kind of begin by asking you this question. What comes to mind when you think of fall? Leaves, raking leaves. Yeah, there's a lot of leaves to be raked. The smell of the leaves, yeah. The colors, oh boy, the beautiful, vibrant colors. Oh, hang on. Oh, good, okay, thanks. What else comes to mind? Oh, having a stuffy nose, because, yeah, sometimes this activates our allergies or something. Yeah, Judy? Oh, watching the leaves dance down to the ground, yeah. And lots of inspiration for wonderful paintings. I know someone who's created a lot of paintings out of scenes in the fall. And, yeah, and in even this quilt here is an example. Birds flocking up, yeah.
We would break a big pile and jump in it.
Yeah.
My husband and I did that for our granddaughters when they were little.
Oh, that was on my list too. I remember as a kid we used to bury ourselves in those leaves. We'd rake the big piles and then we'd jump in it. I have pictures of me with just my head sticking out. Yeah. Wow, okay. Any other thing? Oh, the sound of crunching, walking on the leaves. Yeah. Back to school. Kids going back, kids of all ages, actually. Some of us adults are going back to school too. Transition. It is a time of transition. Apple cider. Yeah. Actually, that was the top of my list, but it was the donuts. The apple cider donuts. Pumpkin pie, yeah, pumpkins. Daylight is waning, weather's getting a little cooler, time to get out those sweaters and jackets. We're moving towards Halloween. This is a time of Jewish what's coming? Winter's coming. But nobody mentioned football. The Buffalo Bills are starting to warm up again. And back to school, lots of things. And so fall is a transitional time, a really important time. And, and this is kind of what it looks like, the equinox. And, where because of the rotation of the earth, 2 days a year, we have this time of perfect balance, 12 hours of light and 12 hours of darkness. And for the next 3 months, the sun will begin to get lower in the sky, and there'll be daily a little bit less sunlight as we progressively move toward the winter solstice. But, as I've thought about all these things, these things that we've described as what comes to mind with fall, that there's kind of some major themes to the fall season. For me, anyway, gratitude. We're moving towards Thanksgiving. And it's a time to think about balance. And it's a time to be aware of change and getting into, all these things can be true at any time, but, being especially aware of nature. And nature helps us to connect with that. So, when I think about gratitude, that this is a time of thinking about sort of gratitude for the harvesting the blessings of summer, moving towards Thanksgiving. And, we can give thanks in lots of ways. I always say Thanksgiving is way more than just a holiday. It's not one day a year. It's a spiritual principle and a spiritual practice. And we can give thanks for things that have already happened, for things that we have in our lives right now. We can give upfront thanks for things in advance that we know are coming to us. And we can just have an attitude of gratitude, even in the midst of something maybe that we didn't think we really wanted. And so, here's a few things that I'm grateful for. If you didn't see our email, Annabelle and Mike had their baby, little baby boy, and his name is Liam Michael Ludwig. Although she said she also calls him Liam Finley. And is there another set of pictures? Isn't that the cute? It's just like, ooh, it's okay to, that's them, Oh, boy. On Monday morning, about 6 a.m., he was about 7 pounds and 20 inches, and everybody's healthy and doing well. And, oh, gosh, that's a lot to be grateful for. So that, look at, I was going to go back to the other one. I guess I'm out of step. I'm sorry. I wanted to go back to the 2 pictures of Liam. Yeah. So, then I think about other things to be grateful for. I just have to say, that Bert Anderson and the Anderson family are continuing to be very generous with our church, and it allowed us to put new speakers in our sanctuary. And there are 4 of them, 2 in the back, 2 in the front. And, I hope that we're noticing a difference. They should be a significant improvement in the clarity and the sound of both the spoken word and the singing word. And so we've put on, and I want to thank Don Hicks for doing all the research and being here all day on the Monday when they came and installed those. And we're still looking for, did that got taken care of already? Oh my gosh. How did that? There were when we took the old speakers out, there were some little holes there, and so we've got the wall patched, and so I'm very grateful for that. And then we have another major project that's going to be starting later this week, I think, if Elaine's right. Is that we've hired a landscaping company to level the ground on the Peace Park, the area where we sit and stand for our Sunday services. That whole area there, they're going to come in and level the ground so it's much smoother. So when we go sit and stand and walk, it'll be much easier and safer to walk on. And they're going to do some additional landscaping. So that's a big improvement to our property and our outdoor space. And then I'm giving thanks in advance, knowing that the right and perfect new board members are going to show up and raise their hand and be on our board starting this fall. That we're in the process. Our board nominating committee is talking to people about serving on the board. And if you are an official member and you're interested in that at all, please speak with me or Chris Bush or the 2 other members of our nominating committee, John Michaels and Lonnie Gibbs. But I just know that the right and perfect people will be on our board this fall. So those are some things to be grateful for. So are you up for trying something new? A little bit of activity? Mary Beth said yes. So, okay. Well, I want to have us do a little small group activity, and it'll only take a few minutes. But I want to give you a chance to ponder this question. And this is the question: why was it important for you to be here today? Why was it important to be here this morning? You could have slept. Well, hold on. Hold yours. Judy's already got her hand up. Okay. But I want to just give you a chance. I mean, you could have slept in. You could have been watching this online. You could have, there's 100 other places you could be or do. Why was it important? Okay, yeah, you're helping with the lunch. So now what I'd like you to do, and we're going to do this kind of quick, is get into a group of 3. Find 3 people, and it could be with people you came with, and you're each going to have 1 minute to share your answer to that question. And the other 2 people, your role is just to listen. You don't have to ask questions or probe or anything, and I'll tell you when it's time to switch. But I want you to, in a group of 3, each person to have 1 minute to share your answer to this question. Why was it important for you to be here this morning? So everybody, can you kind of got a group of 3? So, and if you need to do, or Angela, maybe one of you could turn around, yeah, or Rose, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, go. Yeah. I forgot to bring my. Well, not each group. I'm going to just ask people for a few volunteers. Yeah, thank you. Okay, time to switch. Go to the second speaker if you haven't already. Thank you for your help with this. Yeah. Margaret, you could move. Oh, okay. Okay, go to the third speaker. If the third person hasn't spoken yet, maybe you'll have 1 more minute, okay? Yeah, that would be good if you can take the mics around. Thank you. Yeah, good. Okay, okay, let's wrap it up in about 5 seconds. Come back together. Finish up. Whoever was speaking, have a chance to speak. So I want to invite some voices into the room. We don't have time for everyone to share, but I'd like to have a few people share briefly. Just, what did you learn from that experience, either about yourself or about the others in the group? In just 1 or 2 sentences, briefly. So who would like to share something? Margaret, and Christy's going to bring you a microphone so we can all hear.
Just social connections and being with people that you happen to like, and because sometimes there's people that you're with that you're really not that fond of. But here
Okay.
it seems like, it's a comfortable setting, and you just see people that you've seen and know, so it's less threatening.
Good. I appreciate your being authentic there, Margaret. Okay, let's have a few more voices brought into the full room. Anybody? Either what you learned from about yourself or from the sharing.
Well, it was only 3 people, but I suspect everyone around the room had something like this going on in their group, that, you know, the connection with people, for one thing, but the unity spirit, you know, and being able to enjoy that brings me here every week. So, and there were similar things being said by everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, connection and the unity spirit. Yeah. Judy?
We all have the same feeling, I think. It's the energy. It's the wonderful, loving, positive energy that just fills this room and fills us up to take us through the week.
Maybe a couple more. See anybody on this side of the room? Mary Beth? Or
What I realized about myself was that it's not like a conscious choice anymore to come here. It's just, as David said, second nature. And when I was growing up, I also went to church every Sunday, but it was a different reason. When I was younger, again, it wasn't a choice, but I wasn't always looking forward to going. It felt more like a duty. And now I come for me because I know that it just fills me up. Like everyone's been saying, the energy of being with everybody and connecting.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary Beth. Ardinia?
Well, I come on Sunday because I'm losing my voice. No, I come because I do everything else during the week, and I always think, you know, what's an hour and 15 minutes to give God and the people here that don't see me every day, and my partners here, they agreed to the same thing. We're just glad to be here with each other. Sometimes it's the food, sometimes it's whatever, book studies or whatever we do. It's just that important to us.
Yeah, good. Well, thank you. So it's the connection, it's giving time to God, it's giving to yourself, too, to be here.
Mary, just so everyone knows, one of the reasons I come is because I really enjoy the people. But I come to pick your brains because you are all so intelligent and have taught me so much.
Okay, well, thank
Especially
you.
gardening folks.
Well, we feel the same way about you, actually. Well, good. So I think we've gotten a lot of any other burning. So hopefully you notice some themes there, some commonality, and how important human connection is, social connection, to be around people where you can just be your authentic self and where there's something that feeds you. So this is something that I am really grateful for. I'm grateful that we all come together every Sunday and during the week in a lot of different ways. And these are things you can share with other people. You know, if you have friends who aren't currently attending, but you want to tell them a little bit about our church, share about what it means to you to show up here on Sunday. So we've talked about gratitude as a theme for the equinox. You know, and so this is a time of transitioning from, I guess you could say, the blooming of summer to getting ready for maybe the hibernation of winter. But it's a time for feeling grateful of the blessings, the harvest of our summer, and being grateful for where we have landed right now in our lives, and to take time to kind of reflect on that a little bit. So the next theme I wanted to just mention briefly is balance. You know, that this is a time where we want to take some time to consider and reflect on balance in our lives. And really, to me, balance is kind of about discerning what do we want to keep and what do we need to release. You know, just as the trees release their leaves, that there's times when we need to let go of stuff, whether it's through forgiveness or things in our lives or maybe some relationships or things, but that we can sort of think of balance as sort of, you know, the balance between the light and the dark, you know, from time of warmth to cooler weather, shifting kind of shifting our routines. And, really, as I thought about the daily word message for today about healing, it gives us another example of balance in our spiritual practice. That, it says, when I am experiencing a healing need, and we all experience that. Healing can be lots of things. It can be a physical healing. It can be a healing in our relationships, or healing in our finances, or healing in anything, or peace of mind. And it says that when we have a healing need, basically what it's saying is we need to remember our spiritual powers of releasing and affirmation. The Daily Word says if you're focusing, first you need to release focusing on the illness and the discomfort, and we need to stop focusing on the problem. I mean, it's good to be aware that, there's something going on, but not focusing on. Or it says, when someone asks you to pray with them, don't ask all about their symptoms and their conditions.
Tell me all the gory details, and I need to know everything. But rather look past the appearance of it to the innate, the divine life in that person. We need to release our worry. We need to release our concern, or our trying to figure it out, or how's this gonna happen? How am I gonna get out of this pickle that I'm in, or have this need met? Or we need to release looking around at the world and just saying, it's just the way things are, and we need to instead affirm certain things. So when you have a healing need, we focus our thoughts on God. It's sort of the golden key principle that in the midst of the problem, remember that God is always there, and God is infinite presence, infinite possibility, infinite potential. Look around you for things that are examples of abundance, and it might be the leaves on the ground or on the trees. So focus, it says, focus my thoughts beyond illness and discomfort, or whatever the apparent challenges in the moment. And then see yourself as God sees you. Focus on seeing yourself as whole and well, or created in the image and likeness of God. And the Daily Word says, remember the spiritual truth in the midst of whatever's going on. Remember that God is always greater. Remember that, we go through ups and downs and changes in the seasons, but think of all the times you've gone through ups and downs in the past, and here you are. And then get to the place of knowing, you know that you know that you know, this unshakable faith. I know that divine life lives in me. I am whole and well, and every need is met in a perfect way. I had an experience over these last couple of weeks while I was gone. I went to my high school 50th reunion. I'll admit it. It was 50 years ago that I graduated from high school. And what an amazing experience it was to see people I haven't seen or been in touch with for almost 50 years, and I got an opportunity to release my comparison and judgment, and somebody maybe made more money or is doing, but to affirm, all the things we have in common, to how grateful I am that, some of our classmates aren't with us anymore. They had a poster on the wall with the pictures of probably 30 people that have passed, and how grateful we all were to see each other, and to hear the amazing stories of people's lives and things that people have gone through or are going through or that they're doing, and then on Saturday afternoon we got to go back into our high school building and a tour of the old building, and I remembered things that I loved. I remembered being on the basketball team and standing in the gym and the sports stuff that I loved. I remembered stuff I didn't love. We walked down the hall where they had the home economics classes, and I said, you know what I learned in home ec? I learned that I don't want to do it. Or I learned that I don't like sewing. It's not for me.
I remember we had one term we had cooking. That was okay. But then this was just the girls, and the guys were in the shop classes. And one term we had sewing. Everybody had to make an outfit. And then at the end of the term, you had to wear the outfit that you made. Oh, man. And mine was just a simple two-piece jumper suit, two that you sewed them together on one side. But I got the rub on the corduroy in the wrong direction, and it didn't look right. And that was like the worst day of my life, having to wear that thing that I made. What I learned is that sewing's not for me. But it was a good lesson. I'm glad I learned. So, whenever we have a healing, we find out where we belong and where we don't belong, what our gifts are, what our gifts aren't maybe. But put our focus on how we're seeing things, what our thoughts are. Remember the spiritual truth about ourselves in spite of circumstances. And then get to that place of knowing that you know, the unshakable faith. And then the last part, the last theme of this fall season is accepting change, getting in tune with the changes of nature. And I can't remember what the next, let me go back, then we'll get to that later. But, that with the leaves changing color and fall and everything, that we're just really reminded of the impermanence of all things, and that it's an opportunity for inner growth and letting go. And, this is a time sometimes in the fall people think about honoring their ancestors. Maybe it's time to visit the cemetery, as I did, and honor the people that have come before us. But it's also a time for learning new things and going back to school. But we don't have to be a young person going to school to be, there's a book I was reminded of recently called The Fifth Discipline that's about learning organizations. And it says that a learning organization is a group of people who can navigate a continually changing world, that we need to be lifelong learners. And individually and as an organization, we can't just do everything the way we've always done it and think that that's gonna continue to work. And so one of the things that I've been really blessed with recently is that our board approved for me to be part of a training program sponsored by Unity Worldwide Ministries, the Integral Ministry Certificate Program. And it's a year-long program that we're gonna, that I'm going to be sharing as much as I can as we go through it. But it's about the importance of understanding that ministries are a living system and they need to evolve, that there needs to be a partnership. It's not all up to the minister. It's a partnership with the minister and the congregation, and beginning to think of our ministry as kind of like a spiritual co-op or a cooperative based on values of ownership and partnership and self-responsibility and integrity. And so these are going to be, as I learn, and I find I'm really excited and kind of on fire about this, that as I learn, we'll learn together. And it reminded me of this question from Margaret Wheatley, who's one of my favorite authors on organizational development. And she has written a new book recently, but she talks a lot about living systems, and a living system has to be a learning system. And she says the most important question we can ask ourselves right now is, and the question is, what are we learning now? That we all need to be just asking ourselves that question. What am I learning now? What am I learning? And I saw the most amazing thing. On the way here this morning in my car, driving down Delaware Avenue, there was two of them actually, these swarms of birds up in the air. Elaine will appreciate this. I mean, it was like probably hundreds of birds, but how they swarm together, and different ones maybe take a turn being the lead, and then they go, but they're all in alignment and flowing together. And I just thought, I feel like that's kind of what we want to do is be sort of, to be in alignment in a way, to be flowing together, and different people at different times take a lead on a project or an aspect of the ministry or something, but that we're moving together with the changes of the season. And it was so, I just wanted to stop the car and stand there and watch it so much. And so it just reminded me of a little joke. I just throw this in. Sherlock Holmes. Did you hear about when Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson went on a camping trip? And they had a nice bottle of wine and had their dinner, and then they laid down in their tent and fell asleep. And then some hours later went by, and Watson looked up at the sky, and he said, "Tell me what you see." Or Holmes looked up, and he saw the sky, and he said, "Tell me what you see, Watson." Watson said, "Wow, I can see millions and millions of stars." And so Sherlock Holmes said to Watson, "Well, what does that tell you, Watson?" And Watson said, "Well, astronomically, it tells me that there are millions of galaxies up there and potentially billions of planets. And astrologically, I think I observed that Saturn is in Leo. And horologically, I deduce that this time is about 3:15 in the morning. Maybe theologically, I can see that God is all-powerful that created this incredible universe. And meteorologically, it looks like we're going to have a beautiful day tomorrow." And he went on, and he said, "Well, what does it tell you, Holmes?" Holmes got silent for a minute, and then he said, "Watson, you idiot, somebody stole our tent." That's why we're looking up at the sky. So that was the punchline. But I feel like this time of the autumn equinox is an opportunity for us to think about what are we harvesting and what are we releasing, and be in gratitude for the blessings in our lives, that things that have come through a result of our planting seeds in the spring and the summer, and things that we need to release, and then to just be in balance. And where do we want to move, and what do we want to learn? What are we learning right now from our experiences? And how do we want to use that as we move forward? So I want to just take this time now to lead us into our time of meditation, and know that I like to say, may the forest be with you. May the leaves be with you too, and we're going to have an abundance of leaves. But we'll have a little meditation now to reflect on this experience of being in the midst of the fall equinox. And so Janine is going to lead us in singing "In the Silence," and then we'll have a bit of a meditation focused on these ideas.
You can join me. You can just close your eyes and listen, whatever you'd like to do. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there's unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear
And I'd like to invite you to go on a little journey with me in our meditation today. And begin with your breath. Being aware of your inhale and your exhale. Breathing in and breathing out, kind of settling into a rhythm of balance. Just as the equinox reminds us of the balance of light and dark in our lives and in the world. We need both to sustain us and prosper. And in this season of the autumn equinox, we are in sync with the continual progression of life that is always moving us forward. And so I invite you to envision being at the beginning of a path that leads you into the woods, into a beautiful area that opens up into a colorful autumn landscape with hundreds of trees, leaves that are brilliant reds, golds, and some are still green. They haven't changed yet. Some leaves are crisp and brown as they've already fallen to the ground. And as we walk along this path, feeling the crunch of the leaves under our feet, we find a little stream with water babbling along. And you discover a perfectly sized sitting rock on the edge of the stream. I like to call these rocks my sit spot, a place where you can sit down and just be still in the presence of the colors and the sights and the sounds and the smells all around us. You can feel the warmth of the afternoon sun on your face, but also a cool breeze. And as you sit, you notice that some of the leaves are gently floating, dancing down to the ground. Many are already on the ground. And there are a few leaves that are still hanging on to the branches. It's as if they're saying, just a little longer. We're not ready yet to let go. But you see how the yellows have become orange, the oranges have become red, the reds have become gold and brown. And as you breathe in and breathe out in the midst of this beautiful scene, bring to mind something that you've been holding on to, something that no longer serves you, that you'd like to let go of and you just haven't let it go yet. And imagine that this thing is a leaf on a tree, clinging to a branch high up. It's not a bad leaf, it's not a bad thing. It served its purpose for a time. And now the time has come to let it go. So I invite you to take a deep breath, the deepest breath you've taken so far, and visualize that leaf letting go, falling gently to the ground, joining the other leaves that represent all the things you've learned and grown from your life experiences. And for a moment longer, you can look around and enjoy the beautiful autumn scene. Feel the warmth of the sun, the cool of the air, the brilliant colors. And you might even just tap your heart, feel grateful for the blessings of summer, the harvest that you're experiencing, and the changes that are to come. And when you're ready, you can stand up, leave the side of the river, and begin to walk back up the path that has led you to this very special place in nature. And you know that this path is always available to you. You can return to the autumn world by the river with the trees of red and gold at any time. You know the way, the path to letting go. And so I invite you now to be aware of your breath again, the inhale, the exhale, softly and slowly, bringing your attention back to this room, knowing that as we close this time of meditation, we live in gratitude and in balance with all things and with the changes of the season. Divine life lives in me. I am whole and well. That is our affirmation. Divine life lives in me. I am whole and well. And I'd like to invite our prayer chaplain for today, Harriet, to come up to lead us in prayers for all those with prayers on their heart, the prayers in our prayer box, that we affirm spiritual truth.
Let's take a moment and center ourselves in our heart center. Father, Mother, God, I am so, so grateful for being part of this precious world where I live and grow and experience life. We are especially grateful for the birth of our newest member, Liam. He is part of our new generation of Unity people. We bless him and his family. and we see him being guided to his highest and best good in his future. We also know, God, we are never, ever truly alone. You are always with us. We may have fears and worries, and that's all part of being human. But we know with you at our side, there is nothing that we cannot overcome and grow and become better beings. Thank you, God. Amen.
Thank you, Harriet. And now Janine is going to share with us a song that she wrote especially for today. Guitar.
So I had a little difficulty finding an autumn equinox song. So within hours of the equal light and day, with a cup of coffee and pumpkin spice, this came out, so we'll see how it goes. There's a spot in there where you can echo me, and I'll cue you in if you'd like to do the echo. Summer fades, and then comes fall. I slow down, and quiet calls bring my attention from where it's been, away from the outside to close within. Here's the echo part, okay? A constant change in the turning of the wheel, in the turning of the wheel. A breathing space for earth to reveal, how leaves in their beauty, change and let go, and both the light and the dark are in the wisdom of my soul,
The wisdom of my soul.
soul.
Oh, that was wonderful. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, maybe we can give Janine our unity blessing and say, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. And Janine will be joining us again in October toward the end of the month.